Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another reading vlog. I'm so excited to do this one because I'm hoping, don't quote me on this, but I'm hoping that I read some cozy books in this reading vlog in particular. I'm hoping that I read maybe some cozy fantasy, some cozy mysteries, or maybe just a lot of fantasy, to be honest with you. Now I know I have a set TBR, but I mean, you know how I am. You know that I'm a mood reader, so I'm not gonna say what specific books I want to read in this reading vlog. We are just gonna pick these out based on my mood, based on what I'm feeling together. I did want to talk about the book that I'm about to finish today that I am so obsessed with, like I knew I would be, and that is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. If you haven't read this book already, what are you doing? This book is amazing. It's going to be a 5-star for me, and it's gonna be one of my most all-time favorite books. I already know. As you can see, I have tabbed a lot of it. I'm on page 316 and there's 344 pages, so I'm right there about to finish it and I'm just so obsessed with it. If you didn't know what Divine Rivals is about, this follows two journalists and it's set during the war where two gods have awakened and are now about to go to war again with each other. And so these journalists are kind of stuck in the middle, working for a newspaper agency, trying to write about the war. The main female character, Iris, has a brother who enlisted himself in the war. You follow her trying to communicate with her brother because she hasn't heard from him for 6 months. And you also follow Kit, who happens to be her rival in the same newspaper company that they're both working for. So the story follows their love and it's just such a good, precious book. It is so full of emotions, so beautifully written. There's a magical typewriter. They write letters back and forth to each other. It's full of magical elements. Not very heavy on the politics in this book, but just enough to keep you intrigued, and their love for each other is just so good. Like, I'm already getting teary-eyed because it's that good. The last couple of chapters, starting from chapter 32, oh my gosh, it is just so good. So emotional, so full of anxious moments. I just love this book so much. And so you follow Iris, who is trying to get a hold of her brother and trying to find where her brother is. She knows that he's been enlisted, but she hasn't heard from him for 6 months. I'm not going to say too much about it because I just want you to go into it with an open mind, kind of blind in a way, because I just want you to experience the same emotions and the same feelings that this book has given me so far. And I am so obsessed with it. I think anybody should read it, honestly. This is such a great fantasy romance, and I can't wait for the second one to come out. I think it comes out in November. I'm just so in love with the magical elements in this world, the characters, their love, their banter. I love it so much. And Roman, the love interest, he's just so precious. He's more of the type of guy that will do acts of service for you and not really tell you. And also the writing in their letters that they exchange back and forth with each other are so beautiful. You guys seriously have to read this book. It's just so good. I plan on finishing that book, and then I don't know what I'm gonna read. Right now, I feel like I want to read a cozy mystery, so I think my next book that I want to read is Murder by the Book by Lauren Elliott. It's a cute little cozy mystery set in a bookstore. What more can you ask for, right? We'll see, because I'm also going to purchase 2 other books that just came out today, and that is September House. The other one's called The Library of Shadows, and that one is a YA fantasy romance. I think it's more of a rom-com. It's got a haunted library, paranormal elements. September House, I believe, is a thriller / horror about a haunted house. Its walls bleed every September, so I'm excited to read that one too. Maybe I'll choose one of those for the next book that I read. It's Tuesday, September 5th. It's 12:52. I have roughly an hour and 15 minutes free before I have to pick up Charlie from school. I plan on probably finishing this. If I don't finish this within an hour or so, I'm gonna probably finish it tonight. I am also thinking about maybe filming a video talking about my most anticipated new releases coming this fall that I'm so excited to share with you guys. We'll see how I'm feeling. Once I start to read and once I have an update for you guys, I will let you know. Hi friends, good afternoon. It's the next day and I just want to give you a tiny bit of an update. So last night I did end up finishing Divine Rivals. The way that it ended, you guys, I must get my hands on the next book in the series, and I don't think it comes out until January or something like that. I don't know, quite a ways away. So I'm bummed about that. It's no surprise to you guys that this was definitely a 5-star for me. It was such a good book. Oh my gosh. And the way that it ended, I can't really say anything, but the way that it ended was, I don't know. I'm speechless. Let's just say I'm just speechless, okay? Because I didn't think it was going to end that way. And it might not seem like it's a huge surprise ending for some of you, but for me it was, because I was expecting things to stay the way they were. And then something happens at the end. And I'm just like... Anyways, I can't wait to get my hands on the second one. This book is such a great book. I've already ranted enough about it. It is so beautiful. Their romance is so beautiful. The letters that they write to each other are just everything. As the story progresses, the more of that you get, the more heart and soul you see in their letters. I'm here for it. I love it. I love this book so much. It has just the right amount of romance in it, emotion. The writing to me is stunning. It's got enough fantasy elements in there with touches of magic because of the magical typewriters. It is set in the war, so there's also that, but it's not too much. It's not politically heavy. Just enough to keep you intrigued though. I loved it. 5 stars. After that book, I decided to pick up Murder by the Book by Lauren Elliott. This little cozy mystery set. A small town in England at a bookstore. Already the first page gave me the biggest fall vibes. Let me just read it to you. Addison Grayborn breathed in the intoxicating scents of tangy sea air and New England autumn leaves infused with the comforting aroma of fresh baked bread. I mean, just that sentence alone, like, doesn't it make you feel like you're there with her, experiencing all the smells and the aromas? And I can definitely smell fresh baked bread. Oh my gosh. I didn't really get to read that much last night. I'm literally only on page 14, but I'm loving the vibes. I'm loving how quick and fast paced it is. I'm loving how the dialogue is between her and her next door neighbor who happens to own a tea shop. I'm just enjoying it. Already something happened in the first 14 pages of the book that's keeping me intrigued. And so I'm excited. I'm enjoying it. I did, however, though, found on Goodreads that this book didn't have a lot of good ratings in it. But again, I take Goodreads reviews with a grain of salt. I try not to get on there as much because I just don't want to ruin the experience I might have with the book myself. There are some pretty negative reviews out there, but again, I'm not a cozy mystery connoisseur. Like, I'm not an expert at it. This would be technically my first. I've only read a couple cozy mysteries in the past, and this is one of my first. I don't even know how to describe this kind of cozy mystery because it's different than, say, Finlay Donovan's Killing It type of mystery, but this is my first one in this setting, in this element by this author. I'm just here for the ride. I'm not expecting much of it. I'm not expecting it to be serious. I'm not expecting for there to be a huge plot twist or for me to be fooled by who the murderer is. I'm just here for the ride. I'm here to enjoy it, and I'm just here for some of the cheesiness that it might have. So far, so good. I know I'm gonna fly through this book. I really want to finish it in the next couple of days, if not today, tomorrow, because it's only 298 pages and it's such a tiny, cute little book. And also, I'm just snobby about how books feel sometimes and their size and their page size and their font size. I thought I wasn't gonna like how tiny this book is, but honestly, I love it so much. I think I do have the option to listen to it on Audible, and I really don't want to because I just love the feeling of it just in my hands. This tiny little book that I can compact and take anywhere with me. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of reading done before it's time to go pick up Charlie from school. We have such fun things planned this week because on Friday, it's my son's birthday. He is turning 5 and we're so excited. We've also been practicing with our kids on riding their bikes without training wheels, and yesterday he hit the milestone where he actually learned how to ride his bike without training wheels. And it just brings me so much joy. It makes me tear up inside because he's only 4 years old, and We've hit another milestone in our lives with our kids, and it's just so incredibly wholesome, but yet so bittersweet to watch our kids slowly grow up. And I don't want it to. I don't even think it's happening slowly. I think it's going by too fast. So these moments are precious. I'm gonna try to get some reading done. Then we're gonna have lunch, and then it's gonna be time to pick up Charlie. Then we do some homework, and then afterwards I have a little bit more time left to read. I'm looking forward to reading this. I can't wait to get some more of this done. I will update you once I have another one, once I read more.
Fear thou wouldst corrupt them. New world, same story. But they were right to fear thee, Templar.
Good morning, happy Thursday. I'm having such a great day so far. I will say, last night I didn't really get to read much. I'm still literally on page 48. I tried to read throughout the day, got busy with the kids, and then at night, after my husband and I had a late dinner, tried to read and it was unsuccessful. I literally read like a page and a half and I fell asleep. This morning I got my nails done and look how pretty they look. They're like this very pretty walnut brown. Absolutely love it for fall. Got my first pumpkin spiced iced coffee. I mean, look at this. I'm very picky with coffee in general. I only like the ones that I make at home, honestly. And I really don't like iced coffee, but this is so good. It hits the spot. A 10 out of 10. It's got a hint of pumpkin spice. It's not too bitter. It's not too sweet. It's perfect. I also got myself a croissant. And on my way to my nail appointment, since it's so far away, it's literally like 35 minutes away, I listened to some instrumental fall music. It just put me in the greatest fall mood because fall is my favorite time of the year. I love it so much. If you haven't listened to The French Library by, I think his name is Frank Gordon. I'll put it up here, but if you haven't listened to that, oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful. Music like that sometimes that have no lyrics are like the best. Oh, it just puts me in the best mood ever, and it makes me feel like even though the weather outside is like super hot, it makes me feel like leaves are falling around me and it's fall. Like, oh, I love it so much. Anyways, today I have a very busy day. I'm not going to be able to read much, I don't think, because I literally have a couple hours before Charlie gets home from school. I want to clean the house because tomorrow is Jax's birthday. So I want to clean the house today and get that done. So then tomorrow all we have to do is just worry about Jax's birthday and help him celebrate it. That's my update for now. I didn't want to listen to this, but I'm going to in my library app because it's offered free there and it's available right away. I'm gonna listen to it while I clean the house because I feel like that's the only way I'm gonna progress in this book, honestly. I will keep you guys updated when I have another one. Oh my gosh.
Let's get up here, dude. Let's sing happy birthday to you.
Is that a real car?
We'll see.
I know it's a real car.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go.
Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday, dear Jack. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Yeah. So it's been a few days since I've updated you guys. It's just been a crazy weekend. We just had my son's birthday, 5th birthday. He turned 5 and we were very busy that day. I did want to give you an update as far as where I'm at with my reading. So I did finish Murder by the Book. I ended up giving this one a 3. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this specific type of cozy mystery, so I did enjoy it. I wasn't expecting a lot of heavy dialogue or a well-structured romance or anything like that. I did have fun. I went in it expecting what I got, and I have no complaints. I really don't have a lot to say about this book because it is short. However, it did take me a few days to finish it because I've just been so busy, you guys. Nonetheless, I followed along with the audio version of this and it was really good. It definitely has some cozy feelings to it, some cozy vibes, very atmospheric, and yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time. I did pick up Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and this one again, I am reading along with the audio version of it because it's just so good. It's read by the author himself, so that's very fun. I started this book this morning. I'm already on page 38 and I love it so much. I am enjoying it so much. It is just so good. That's all I can say about it. This book follows Viv, who is an orc, and she turns in her weapons and doesn't want to do battle anymore, doesn't want to live that kind of lifestyle anymore. She decides to go to a different town and open up her own coffee shop. However, this town has never heard of coffee before, doesn't know what it tastes like. She is now just learning how to make it. It's absolutely precious. I am enjoying it so much. Right now, I'm at the part where she finally found a little, I think it's a horse stable. They call it a livery. She is renovating it with the help of someone. I think he's a fisherman or something. They're renovating it and fixing it up to make it into a coffee shop. She's recently received her coffee beans and I just love it so much. The descriptions and the details of them renovating this place, what she envisions for it. She kind of envisions a type of cozy farmhouse look to her cafe. I'm so excited to keep reading. I think this one's going to be a very fast read for me because I just didn't want to put it down. I do have things to do today, which is the only reason why I put it down, but nonetheless, I'm loving it so much. There's one line in here on how she's telling her former employer, Cal, about how she experienced this coffee and why she wants to build her own coffee shop. To me, it was just so comforting to read. She says, Viv nibbled experimentally, tasted the warm, bitter, dark flavor as it coated her tongue. She felt she needed to explain. They grind it into powder and then run hot water through it. But there's more to it than that. When the machine shows up, I'll show you. Gods, the smell of it, Cal. This is just a ghost of it. She sat back. My son is drinking orange juice right now, so if you hear this slurping in the background, that's my son. She sat back on the flagstones and rolled the beam between her thumb and forefinger. I told you I came across it in Azimuth, and I remember following the smell to the shop. They called it a cafe. People just sat around drinking it from these little ceramic cups, and I had to try it. It was like drinking the feeling of being peaceful in your mind. I mean, isn't that just precious and magical? I'm definitely foreseeing me giving this book a 5-star because it's just what I need to read right now. If you haven't noticed, it's gloomy outside, it's windy. I do plan on going to Trader Joe's because I really want to get their very popular cinnamon roll spread because I'm planning on making cinnamon pastries. I also wanted to share with you guys a little mini book haul. I have 5 fantasy books here because in the fall season, I've just been recently in the mood to read fantasy. Some of these are fantasy, high fantasy with a little bit of romance. Some of them are fantasy romance. Some of them are gothic horror fantasies. So I'm super excited to have a little bit of everything. Most of these are particularly just the first book in the series because I just want to test them out and try them out to see if I want to continue and commit to the rest of the series. Most of these, I know a little bit about them. I'm kind of going into it blind, so I might read the synopsis, I might not, depending on how long it is, just so you guys can get a little snippet of it. The first one I want to talk about is by the same author that wrote Divine Rivals, which I read and absolutely loved. So I can't wait to pick this one up. I think this one is more of a folklore fantasy type of book, but nonetheless, I love this author and I just want to pick up more of her books. It is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, and it says an Elements of Cadence novel swept me away by the very first page, truly magical. Look at this beautiful cover. I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I really want to get to it soon, especially in the fall season, because again, I'm in this fantasy mood. I just want to read everything fantasy. I want to get lost in a magical world with great characters and beautiful world building, and I just want to get lost in it. It starts with a letter and an ominous journey across dark waters. 10 years after being sent away to the mainland to become a bard, Jack Tamerlan is summoned home to Cadence. Girls are going missing from the island, and his childhood nemesis and the future leader of the clan believes Jack is the only one who can find them. The elemental spirits that dwell in every breath of air, splash of water, blade of grass, and flicker of fire find mirth to the lives of the humans, and a bard's music is the only way to summon them and ask that the girls be returned. Yet, as Jack and Adira get closer to solving the mystery, it becomes apparent that an older, darker secret about Cadence lurks beneath the surface, and no harp song may be strong enough to stop it. So it has romance in it, it has elemental magic in it, it also has some mystery because some girls are going missing. I can't wait to read this. The next one is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, and I really don't know anything about this, but I have heard that it's become very popular. Also, Miss Sarah J. Maas did a blurb on it. She says, Lynette Noni is a masterful storyteller, a must-read for all fantasy lovers. I think this one's more of a high-paced fantasy, which, I don't know. I'm a new fantasy reader, and I am kind of dipping my toes into specific fantasies. After reading most of ACOTAR, I just feel like I really like the slow burn, the world building, the character development of what a fantasy has to provide to you. And when it's kind of cut short and the book is too short or the characters are just bland, it kind of influences my experience with it. But nonetheless, I still am dabbling and dipping my toes, so I'm not gonna not try it. I'm gonna give it a shot. 17-year-old Kiva has spent the last 10 years fighting for survival in the notorious death prison, working as the prison healer. When the rebel queen is captured, Kiva is charged with keeping the terminally ill woman alive long enough for her to undergo the trial by ordeal. A series of elemental challenges against the torments of air, fire, water, and earth, assigned to only the most dangerous of criminals. Then a coded message from Kiva's family arrives, containing a single order: don't let her die, we are coming. Aware that the trials will kill the sickly queen, Kiva risks her own life and volunteers in her place. If she succeeds, both she and the queen will be granted their freedom, but no one has ever survived. With an incurable plague sweeping Selendorf, a mysterious new inmate fighting for Kiva's heart, and a prison rebellion brewing, Kiva can't escape the terrible feeling that her trials have just only begun. That sounds very interesting. It is kind of compared to The Hunger Games again, like a lot of these newer fantasy books are, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't have anything against The Hunger Games. It's just when characters are going through trials, I just don't like it. I don't enjoy reading about it. But it is set in a prison. She's a prison healer. There's romance brewing, and I'm just excited to get to this one. This one has been very popular. This one is a YA fantasy, and that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. Again, Sarah J. Maas has a little blurb on it. A brilliant debut full of everything I love. Inside too, Sarah J. Maas goes into a great deal about this, and I think this one is about a witch and a witch hunter, if I'm not mistaken. Bound as one to love, honor, or burn, a witch and a witch hunter thrust into holy matrimony. There is only one way such a story could end: a stake and a match. Well, let me read you what Sarah J. Maas says. She goes, praise for Serpent and Dove, a brilliant debut full of everything I love, a sparkling and fully realized heroine, and an intricate and deadly system of magic, and a searing romance that kept me reading along into the night. Serpent and Dove is an absolute gem of a book. So I think this is an arranged marriage YA fantasy. Let me just look it up so that I'm not informing you incorrectly. Bound as one to love, honor, and burn, 2 years ago, Louise LeBlanc fled her coven and took shelter in the city of Cesarion, forsaking all magic and living off whatever she could deal with, whatever she could steal. There, witches like Lo are haunted. They are feared and they are burned. Reed Diggory has lived his life by one principle: thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. His path was never meant to cross with Lo's, but a wicked stunt forces them into the impossible union, holy matrimony. The war between witches and church is an ancient one, and Lo's most dangerous enemies bring a fate worse than fire. Unable to ignore her growing feelings, yet powerless to change what she is, a choice must be made, and love makes fools of us all. That sounds so interesting. It is about a witch and a witch hunter. They're probably having an arranged marriage of some sort. I'm excited. This is definitely definitely one that I'm going to put on the top of my list because it just sounds so atmospheric and it gives me those feelings of just fall fantasy. The next two books on my list are more of gothic horrors. They're known to be very atmospheric and I'm so excited to get to them this fall. The first one is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillian. Look at this cover. I mean, isn't that stunning? Like, I feel like it's mysterious, it's gothic, it's gloomy. I love it. Elizabeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elizabeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient, mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps her secrets. But nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elizabeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins in dangerous quest to cure Blunder of the dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder and guilty of high treason. A beautifully dark fairy tale of blood, rage, and bitter choice that whisked me away to mist. There's a plague, I think, involved. Some forbidden love. Very dark, gloomy. I'm in. Count me in. And then the last book that I picked up is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. And this one, I believe, is fairy tale princess retelling about the 7 princesses or something like that, but make it gothic and dark and disturbing and creepy. And I'm all in. I've heard nothing but great things. It's also a very short book, so I'm dying to see what the hype is on this one. I know this one has been around for a little bit now. It's not fairly new. It's been around since 2019, so it's not like a brand new book. When I've come across it from other people's channels, from other booktubers, this one is super popular and a lot of people recommend it, so I can't wait to get to this one this fall. I know I'm definitely going to get to this one because there's other books in the series that I'm dying to read as well. Step inside a fairy tale. In a manor by the sea, 12 sisters are cursed. Emily lives a sheltered life at Highmore with her sisters. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short, each death more tragic than the last. Disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, Annalay becomes increasingly suspicious that her sisters' deaths were no accidents. The girls have been sneaking out every night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers, and Annalay isn't sure whether to try to stop them or to join their forbidden trysts. Because who or what are they really dancing with? When Annalay's involvement with a mysterious stranger who has secrets of his own intensifies, it's a race to unravel the darkness that has fallen over her family before it climbs her next. A House of Salt and Sorrows is a spellbending novel filled with magic and the rustle of gossamer skirts down long, dark hallways. Oh my god! Get ready to be swept away, eerie, lovely, full of ghosts and gods and a fascinating waterfront world. I need to read this. I need to read this soon because it just sounds so good. That's my little mini book haul. I'm gonna take advantage before it rains. I hope it rains today because I just can't wait to curl up with my book and read it on a cozy rainy day. Just gives me more of those fall vibes and that fall feeling that I crave so much, even though here in Vegas, it's still sometimes 100 degrees out. It doesn't matter. It's whatever I feel inside, right, you guys? As long as I'm reading a good book, as long as it's sometimes gloomy and windy, today is the perfect day. I feel like we're finally transitioning to September, how September should be here instead of it being so hot. So I'm so excited. We're gonna go to Trader Joe's first. We're gonna get some goodies. I will check in later when I have another update. morning. It's Monday. I haven't really I haven't really kept up with updating you on the days. I don't know if you guys care about that or not, but it's Monday. I just wanted to give you a little update. I'm on chapter 12 on page 105, and I just have to say I love this book so much. It is so perfect for the fall. It's just the feelings, the talk about the cafe, how Viv, the main character, is slowly adding to her coffee shop, the descriptions of the customers enjoying their coffee. We just got introduced to possibly the baker in the story, and it sounds like a cute little mouse. His name is Thimble. I mean, this book is so precious. Oh my gosh, they're talking about cinnamon rolls. My husband's in the grocery store right now. I literally asked him to bring home some cinnamon rolls because I'm just in such a mood after reading about it to want to eat some. I'm enjoying this book so much. I'm so glad that I actually started reading it. I feel like I'm actually reading this faster than I thought I would, which is a good thing. I'm actually wanting to start chipping away and start reading the last book in the Ektar series so I can move along with Sarah J Maas's books and possibly start her Throne of Glass series. I don't know. Everything's up in the air. I do know that I'm just loving this book. I'm enjoying it. It's probably going to be a 5-star, to be honest with you, just because of how cozy and perfect it is and how much I'm loving it, especially reading it now in September. It is the perfect fall read for sure. Look how cute the chapters are. Like, this one has a cute little cinnamon roll on it. And I think every chapter has a little, yeah, this one looks like it has some scones. I'm loving this book. So it's the next day, it's Tuesday. Just wanted to give you a little update. So I literally only have 74 pages left of Legends and Lattes as I'm following along with the audiobook. It says I have like less than 2 hours left. So for sure, I'm going to finish this book today. If I can express enough, let me just say this book has made me so happy. It makes me so happy, and it fills me with such cozy feelings and fall vibes. It's just so good. You guys need to read this. If you haven't read this book already, you guys need to read it. And I know that Books and Bone Dust comes out in October, I believe, which I'm definitely going to pick up because I just love this book so much. I'm at the point where now something very sad happens. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give anything away, and I'm hoping that things turn around and get resolved. Yeah, I'm enjoying this book so much. I definitely highly recommend. I also wanted to share with you guys what I'm starting to want to make it a tradition every year during the fall season time. In Charlie's school, they require reading to your kids a minimum of 20 minutes per night. I'm just taking advantage of the fall season, the spooky season, the cozy books. I picked this up at Costco last year. We haven't gotten through it. This year we started it over just because I wanted a refresh. This one's an illustrated version of it, and that is Disney's Hocus Pocus. The illustrations in this book are just so beautiful and give you such autumnal vibes. It's so good. It's so good. So this one is illustrated by Chris Grimsley, and I think this book came out last year. It is written by A.W. Jantha, and it's based by the screenplay of Mick Garris and Neil Cuthbert. The story is by Davis Kirshner and Mick Garris. It's a little dark, it's a little bit grimly, if that's even a word, but I absolutely like it. And then if there's words like stupid or words that I don't want my daughter to be repeating at age 6, then I just improvise or I just skip that word and read along. It is not only a book with lots of words in it, as you can see. The illustrations on this are just dark and eerie and gloomy, but just so beautiful. It just gives me such excitement. I mean, look at the witches. Look how creepy the witches look. I mean, it's beautiful. Every night I try to read to her a couple of pages because it is a long book. It's literally like 297 pages. We're already on page 34, still on chapter 1, but again, I love this illustrated version of Hocus Pocus. I feel like this is a staple at this point. I want to try to read this to the kids every year during this season just because it's just so cozy, but yet very eerie and very dark. It almost reads like Old English. Some of the words and phrases feel like that. Also, the inside of it is beautiful as well. Just gives you those dark vibes to it. Look at the naked cover of this. Isn't this so beautiful? Look at that. Isn't that so stunning? The back too has the 3 Sanderson sisters. The way the Sanderson sisters are illustrated in this copy is just so good. So we've been reading that. I thought I'd share this book with you guys in case you're thinking about picking it up. Now, this book wasn't really cheap, but again, for me, it's a must-have. And it's one of those books that I will be reading continuously every year as a tradition to my kids. We all love spooky vibes and Hocus Pocus in this house. This illustrated version of this book is perfect. I know I'm going to finish this book today. I really don't know if I'm going to stop the vlog here or if I'm going to pick up another book, finish it off with 4 books in this vlog. I don't know. I have so many plans and so many video content plans for you guys. I'm so excited. You've also been recommending some videos too, which makes me happy. Being a mom of 2 and a wife and being just so busy with all of that and having responsibilities and having obligations, it's hard for me to set aside time for reading as much as time for content making. I'm finding a healthy balance between them, so that's good. I'm just enjoying creating content for you guys. It's been super fun. I will check back in once I'm done with the book, and then I will tell you my thoughts, my readings, and also I'll let you know if I'm going to continue the vlog or if I'm going to end it with just this book. I really highly recommend this book. Again, it's going to be no-brainer for me. It's going to be a 5-star read. Hi guys, good afternoon. It's been a couple of days. Ignore my hair. I just curled it right after I washed it, so it's a little bit crazy. I haven't updated you guys on anything. It's just been a crazy week again. I wanted to let you know that a couple days ago I did finish Legends and Lattes. It's definitely a 5-star read for me. It's one of those reads that is so comforting. It was just so good. This is gonna be in my all-time favorite books of the year. I already know it. I just absolutely had such a great time reading it. The perfect time to pick this book up for me. I just had such a great time. I can't wait to read. I think it's called Bookshop and Bone Dust or Books and Bone Dust, something like that. But I can't wait to read that one. I think that one comes out this October and it's the second part of this series. So I'm just so excited to read it. I loved everything about this book. I loved the characters. I love how cozy it is. I love the descriptions of the food. I enjoyed just following Viv, the main character, around and seeing her create this very successful coffee shop and all of the friends and employees that she meets along the way. I'm absolutely in love with all the characters. So yeah, definitely recommend this book. 5-star read for me. I just can't wait to read more from Travis Baldree. I also did want to let you know that I did pick up The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Madana. I'm not going to read this entire book in this vlog, but I did want to let you know that I picked this up. I'm almost done with it. I'll be probably finished with it within the next couple of days. I'm already on 156 and I don't know guys, everybody loves this book and I don't hate it, I love it, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would be. It's very slow to me, which is not a bad thing. It is very cozy, it is very comforting, it is sweet. I'm just not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed Legends and Lattes right off the bat. So I don't know. I feel like I'm halfway through the book now and I feel like at this point I should be immersed in this story and loving it so much, but I'm just having a good time. I'm just liking it. I'm not absolutely loving it. If you didn't know what this book is about, this book follows Mika Moon, which Let me just stop there. Mika Moon. How cute is that name? It follows Mika Moon, who happens to be a witch, and she actually has, I think, an Instagram where she pretends to be a witch so that she can actually be a witch, if that makes sense, because it's forbidden. In this world, you're not supposed to be talking to other witches. You're not supposed to be doing magic. Nobody knows about witches, and it should be kept that way. She gets reached out on the internet asking if she would teach these 3 little girls who happen to be witches, who are orphaned, how to control their magic. And so this whole book is about her and the relationship that she builds with these little girls, and also the relationship she builds with the people living in this house, which is called Nowhere House. We have a grumpy librarian, we have a gardener, we have a housemaid, I think, or a housekeeper. We have a very colorful, I think he's 80 or 85-year-old man as well in here. And that's basically what the book is about. I will say I am enjoying it. I just am not loving it obsessively like other people do, which I guess it's fine. You know, we all have our own opinions. I'm not hating it, but I will say I'm not enjoying it or loving it like I love Legends of Lattes. Also, last couple days, I was playing with my son in the playroom and we heard a big blow, like that. Like, it was very scary. It felt like somebody got a brick and smashed our window. That necessarily didn't happen, but what did happen was this. So you see that? You see that window that looks so beautiful? It looks like a rainfall. Well, no, that's not a rainfall. That's actually shattered glass. It's supposed to look like this one. But here we are with this. So how that happened is nobody hit it, nobody ran into it, the kids didn't throw something at it. It just shattered because this is a newer house. The house is still settling, and I guess there was just so much pressure in this room that it decided to crack on one corner and then it rippled. So that is what we're dealing with right now. I know that you guys have requested a library tour. That's going to be on hold for just a little bit until we get this window fixed. So we're dealing with that in all its glory. With that being said, I am going to close out the vlog. I have hopes that I finish editing this video so that I could air it out for you guys tomorrow, and I have other things planned as well, so I didn't want to make this vlog too long. Let's do a recap on what I actually read in this vlog. I'm actually putting them in order from what I read first. So here is the very beautiful stack of books that I read in this vlog. I'm so proud of them. Look how beautiful the colors are. When I started this vlog, I actually was in the middle of reading Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Again, this is going to be another one of those books that is going to be in my all-time favorite book of the year video that I plan on making by the end of this year. This book is one of the reasons why I'm getting into fantasy and why I love fantasy so much. I adored this book. I love it. If I could give it more than 5 stars, I would. I think you guys should read it. If you're going to start any fantasy series aside from the ACOTAR, of course, you should start this one. This is such a good book. It helps you dip your toes into fantasy because it's not really heavy on the world building and it's not very heavy on the character building. It's got magical elements. It's got a magical typewriter. It's got a slow burn romance, which I'm finding out that in fantasies, I really love slow burn books and slow burn romances. I love them so much. I don't really like when the characters are insta-lovey and get together right away and confess their love. I like it when it's more slowly and passionately driven, where maybe it becomes enemies to lovers and then it develops and blossoms into this passionate yearning and longing for each other, but yet unsaid. And it's just one of those slow burns, you know? That's what I'm really enjoying about fantasy so far, at least the fantasy books that I've dabbled into. I just really enjoy the slow build of it, how it slowly introduces you to the world and the characters and how you can go from hating a character into absolutely loving one, or how you can root for the character and then not root for them, or just go back and forth with your feelings of the characters. I love it. I love books like that, especially fantasies that are like that. So I highly recommend this book, you guys. It is so good. I think the next one comes out in November or January, I'm not sure, but as soon as it comes out, I'm picking it up because I just have to. It's that good. The next book I read in this vlog was Murder by the Book by Lauren Elliott. Now this one has a lot of bad reviews reviews on Goodreads, but again, I treat reviews with a grain of salt because not everybody has the same taste, same thought process, the same feelings towards different books. You know, you could absolutely love this book and I could hate it, or vice versa. So I don't really give into reading a lot of Goodreads reviews because I don't really want it to influence my rating or my thoughts without even starting the book or giving it a chance. I did give this one a 3. Again, it's not a book that you invest yourself in. It's just a fun time. You know, there's a little bit of mystery to it. There's a murder to be solved. Things happen. You know, the romance is mild, nothing too crazy, but it was a fun time. It was very atmospheric. I did feel like it was autumn. I felt like I was standing out and watching the leaves from the trees turn those fallish colors. I definitely will say that this book is very atmospheric and it does give you cozy mystery fall vibes if you're looking for that. It's also set in a bookstore, so it's got all those very good elements in there. And to me, I gave it a 3 because it was just a fun time. I went in it not expecting much from it and I got what I wanted to get out of it. So I'd say give it a try. Go in it blindly and not expect anything from it. And I believe if you do that, you'll probably enjoy it a lot more. The next book I read was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. 5-star read. You guys already know I can't shut up about this book in this vlog, and I just absolutely loved it so much. It's cozy. It's wonderful. The friendships that Bib has with these characters, and it's just so good. It's such a good book. Also narrated by the author himself, so that was so fun. Then I started The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Madana. I'm leaning towards a 4 or 3.75 of this book. It's very good. It's just not what I was envisioning it was. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't feel the same way I felt as when I read Legends and Lattes, where I automatically off the bat was enjoying myself and was smiling and giggling and just having a great time. This one's more of a slower build, and you know, I don't know. We'll see. I will talk about this one a little more during my wrap up. I'm very proud of my little stack that I have here for this reading vlog. I mean, I think I did very well. And all of these were on my TBR. So I did go through a huge chunk of my TBR for this month. So I'm happy with that. And honestly, now I don't know if I'm going to continue to follow it. I know I want to start ACOTAR pretty soon. I want to start that last book in the series, but maybe I'll vlog it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. You guys tell me down below if you want to see a vlog dedicated to the last book in the ACOTAR series, or if it doesn't matter. Really, what I want to read is just a bunch of fantasy. I am in the mood for just a bunch of fantasy reads. I just can't wait to expand my fantasy palette, shall I say. I also want to read a lot of high fantasy, not all just romance fantasies, but a lot of high fantasy. So if you guys have any recommendations, please let me know down below. That's it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!